Hello, and welcome back to my channel. I'm Shauna from Created and Made, and today I'm going to be showing you guys my 10 must-have art supplies from the Dollar Tree. Now, I did my air quotes because these products are not necessarily marketed as art supplies, but I'm going to show you how I use them in my arts and crafts anyway. Fun stuff ahead. Stay tuned. The very first product I'm going to show you are these flexible cutting mats, and I'm showing this one first because I'm going to use one throughout the duration of this video. Now, these mats measure 11 by 14 inches and they come 2 in a package, so you get 2 for $1.25. They are very flexible and they're durable, so you can use them for a number of things, which is why they made the list. Now, what I'm going to be using them for mostly in this video is as a protection for my work surface. Like, this is the mat right here. This is one of the mats, and you can spray on it, you can do alcohol, ink, etc., and it'll protect your table or crafting station or what have you from getting stained or inked up. You can also cut these flexible cutting boards pretty easily. I did this with an X-Acto knife, and so you can make really quick impromptu stencils or masks to use in your arts and crafts. You can also use these plastic mats as alcohol ink substrates. Now, this is just a quick thing I threw together, but as you can see, I have my alcohol ink on there and some metallic golds, and so you can do this on a larger scale and die cut it, use it on your cards, etc. Finally, one of the ways I like to use these flexible cutting mats is as journal covers. Now, I like them because they are flexible and they work really well with the disc system, because you can sort of bend them and get them on there. Now, what I did with this is I just cut it up and I cut the holes with the tool that lets you do that, and then I put rub-ons on here. I'm going to drop a link to the video, or I think it's a reel or a short, I'm not sure, where I showed you guys how to do this. So that's the very first product, and it is a flexible cutting mat. Next up are these pump spray bottles. Now, they come 2 in a package, and this is what they look like. I've already started playing with them, but the reason I like these so much is because they fit really well in the Ranger line of products. So if you ever need to replace a sprayer, and you know, if you use Dana Wakley's gloss sprays, that you might have to do that more often, these will fit on there. So all you have to do really is you take your clog sprayer off and you just pop this one right on there. I've already done this, obviously. That's why it's covered with orange. But once you pop that on there, you can just use it as usual. And I mean, these are 2 for $1.25. So if you find yourself needing to replace your sprayers on these bottles, this is a really easy way to do that. I also use these sprayers to mix my own sprays. Now, this is tie-dye powder that I mixed up with some water. It's black and blue, and I will drop a link to a video where I did a lot of playing with my tie-dye powders and creating all different kind of products. But these spray bottles are really useful in that way. This next one is condiment bottles. Now, these come in a pack of 2, so again, it's a really great value to get 2 of these for $1.25, and I use these for either paints or glue. Now, the reason I like these is because the nozzle is actually pretty good. So it gives you some fine control when you're applying paint to a surface like a gel plate or your art journal. And these are really great if you want to mix your paints with something like a pouring medium or any other kind of medium that is really liquidy. This is a great option for that. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and call this one a 3-in-1 because there are 3 main products, but all of them come from the Dollar Tree. The first one is this pan. It is the Essentials dish pan, and it is a good size for soaking, which you can see here, which are really dirty stencils. Now, most of the time I don't bother washing my stencils, but sometimes they just get, you know, a little too mucky, and I want to try to do something about that. So I have my dish pan. I have some hot water in there. In that hot water, I have liberally sort of poured this LA's Totally Awesome cleaner. It is all-purpose concentrated cleaner, and it's sold with the other cleaning supplies at the Dollar Tree. Finally, what I have, the third thing is this bath scrubber. It is a silicone scrubby brush thing, and I found it in the baby supply section. You can see that says 0 months on it. It is sold with the baby supplies. It actually comes with a little suction cup on the back of it, but I cut that off because I didn't need that part. But you might want to keep it on it helps you hold the scrubber a little easier. So what I'm gonna do, I'm showing you guys the before. You see what my stencils look like. They're pretty mucky, pretty dirty. They're not supposed to be this color. This is the before, and when I come back, I'll show you guys what it looks like after and how these Dollar Tree products help me clean these mucky stencils. Okay, so let's take a look at how this came out. I'm going to take this out of the Totally Awesome cleaner and put it on this tray so you guys see that there's layers of acrylic paint. You can see several different colors here, layers of acrylic on here. Let me move this out of the way. Now these have been soaking for a couple hours. I did leave them. I'm going to take the scrubber from the Dollar Tree, and I want you to see how easily these layers of acrylic just kind of come right off. It's hard to see because it's so dirty, but if I give this a little rinse, you'll be able to tell. Do you see that? You see how clean that is? So I'm going to go ahead and keep on scrubbing this, and I'll be back. Okay, so this is how we turned out. Does it look like it did when it came out the package? No, it doesn't. But does it look way better than it did when they started? Yes, it does. It is a whole lot cleaner. Those layers have been pretty much removed. And just so you guys know, because you might not have been able to tell, I wasn't doing a lot of pressure with this scrubber. It was really gentle, just kind of wiping it away instead of, you know, elbow grease scrubbing it away. So that just means that this Totally Awesome cleaner cut through those layers of acrylic pretty well. So I recommend it. And really quickly, these were the other two stencils that you saw in that bucket as well. They both came really clean also. So this might be my most used supply of them all. This is the McCormick Scraper Spreader, and you can find it in the kitchen utensil section at the Dollar Tree. Now, I like this product for applying my modeling paste and other mediums through my stencils onto my projects, but I like this one in particular for a couple reasons. First, it has the double sides. I like that because if you had a wide mouth jar like this, yes, using the big side would be fine, but if you have smaller mouth jars like these, or like the lunar paste, solar paste, flipping it over to this smaller size works very well. Now, another thing I like about this product is the rigidity of the applicator. I find a lot of products like this have like kind of floppy or flimsy applicators that bend too much for my liking, and so it just makes it a little more difficult to control the application of the product through the stencil. I like that this one is a little harder of a plastic and it's a little more rigid. And finally, I mean, like all of these products, it's $1.25, right? So if something happens to it, it's easily replaceable and very affordable. Now let's see how this looks. You can see how you get great results using this spreader. Okay, so we talked about the flexible cutting mats as great work surface protection, but another way to protect your work surface is using placemats and shower curtain liners. Okay, so starting with the placemats, you want to get the plastic kind, I guess they're PVC. These are way more durable and way more useful than any of the fabric ones. Don't get the fabric ones, not for work surface protection anyway, because you can spray on these, you can ink on them, and go ahead and clean them off. And much like the flexible cutting mats, you can also use these plastic ones as journal covers. I have a whole video about how to use placemats in your arts and crafts, so you should go ahead and check that out after this video, of course. But this is great work surface protection. You can just plop it out and get to spraying, get to inking. It's really easy to clean, as I said. Another thing that you can use if you have a bigger area to cover or bigger area you want to protect is the shower curtain liners. Now, these measure 70 inches by 72 inches, and when they're out of the package, it looks like this. I mean, it's hard to show you. I can't show you how big it is, but this is how clear it is. And these are a lot more durable, I found, than the tablecloths from the Dollar Tree, because they are made of some pretty sturdy plastic, and they have some magnets in them that you can take out and just have, you know, extra bonus magnets for other crafts that you may want to use magnets for. So this is really great if you want to cover a whole table to work on, like for kids, etc. These items are 3 different kind of sanding products that you can get at the Dollar Tree. Now, they say they're for sanding wood, but I use them for sanding paper all the time. Now, let's take a look at all 3. This one is a 24 piece, and it comes in 6 different grits, from fine grit to a coarse grit. So you have some differing strengths here in this pack. It's a freehand pack, and they're loose, so you can just use it freehand. This one comes with these sandpaper strips. I don't know, there's maybe like 10 or so in there, and you just sort of attach them on the inside, and so you have some sandpaper that you can hold on to and use that way. This one is just a sanding block that has a built-in plastic handle. Now, what do I do with these sanders? Well, if you have something that you've glued down and the edges are not clean, you can see how sort of rough those edges are. You can definitely use sanders to clean up your edges. This is what I use it for most of the time, to be honest. It's a real easy way to make your glued edges look like they are just, you know, one piece, not like 2 glued pieces. It really cleans them up in that way. As you can see, just that little bit of sanding went a long way to clean up those edges, definitely. And another way that I would use a sander is if you have something like this, a background, and you want to distress it, you want to dirty it up a little bit, you can definitely take your sander and pick a few spots and make it look not so clean, a little aged, a little distressed. I hope you guys can see that. Another way that I use these is if I'm trying to take, like this is an old mini book that I'm going to make a mini journal out of. And it has like a glossy finish on it. You can see how glossy that is there, and that doesn't take product very well. So what I would use this for is to sand off that glossy finish, and then it could take product like gesso, acrylic paint, etc. So the Dollar Tree does sell these cute little palettes. They come 6 in a package for $1.25, and I use these all the time. But I do also use these contact lens cases as palettes. They come in a pack of 5, and each set comes with a left and a right, obviously. Now, the reason I would use these is if I was mixing up something like alcohol ink and I didn't want it to evaporate, I want it to come back to it later, I will mix it up in one of these, pop these tops on there, and then I can come back and use it when I'm ready to use it. I would also use these when I'm mixing up sort of like small runs of certain colors and I don't use it all in one sitting and I want to come back to it later. For example, this is the Ken Oliver Color Burst, which is a watercolor powder mixed with water that I am storing in these little cases because I can just pop these tops on here. I've put a punched out piece of watercolor paper here so I can mark the color, but I can just put these over off to the side on my desk and come back to it when I'm ready to use it. Or I can even travel with them. Since they are contact lens cases, they are meant to keep that liquid inside. Now, I've stored these upside down accidentally before and I didn't have any leaks. I mean, nothing is foolproof, but these are built very sturdy and can be used to travel with as well. So this next one is a couple of different products that I use together. The first is the mini wavy plates. Now I find this in the party supply section, and they're just these little cute wavy little plates, and they come in a pack of 12. Now I pair them with these snack containers. The brand is Sure Fresh, and they come 3 in a package, and they're kind of shallow like this. The Dollar Tree used to have some containers that look like this, and if I see those, I buy those too. So what I do is, if I have some embossing powder that I use a lot, I will store them in these containers with the wavy plates stored right inside with it, and I will show you why I do that. For ease of application of the embossing powder, I store them this way. Now I have stamped off an image over here onto this tag, and this is how I will usually do it. I will scoop up some of the powder, and I will just stick the card inside the container, or stick whatever I'm embossing inside the container, assuming that it fits, of course, and I'll just pour the embossing powder down, straight down the image. Now usually once we'll get it done. If I have to go over it, I'll do that, but you see how easy and clean and neat that was. I can tap off any excess and then go ahead and put the top back on, put it away, and it's ready to use for next time. Now I will only use this method for powders that I use a lot and that I have a lot of, like my whites, my clears, the silvers, the neutrals. I obviously wouldn't do this for every powder because it becomes a lot to store. So let me go ahead and emboss this so we can just tie this off with a bow. And there you go, nice, neat, clean embossing. And as a quick little bonus tip for these products is, if you do happen to get some embossing powder on your work surface and you don't feel like, trying to get it together and get it back in the container, a really quick way to do some easy cleanup is with this sticky lint roller. Now this is the Laundry Essentials brand, and it has 40 sheets of sticky. So you just go ahead and roll that over your surface and you are done. This also works really well for things like glitter. I recently did a video that I will link up top about how I used the Dollar Tree wooden cubes to make stamping cubes. But now I'm going to show you guys how I use some of the Dollar Tree wooden products to add handles to my DIY stamps. Now, I make a lot of my own stamps. I make them out of felt, out of foam, I should say, that I die cut, that I etch. I have some stamp carving material that I use. I have a whole bucket full of DIY stamps. But what I don't like is that when these stamps don't have anything on the back to hold on to, they are more difficult to use. They're difficult to hold on to. They're difficult to stamp with without getting your hands in the ink or the paint. And so I like to add little handles onto the back of my DIY stamps, like so. As you can see, this is this particular block here. I have just double-sided tape this to the stamp, so now I can have a handle to hold on to, and it's much easier to stamp into the paint and use it to stamp onto whatever I'm going to stamp it onto. Now you can hot glue these, you can use white glue, double-sided tape, as I said, and it's a real easy way to add a handle to your DIY stamps. So I showed you guys these before. These are the Crafter Square wood craft cubes. They come 36 in a package, and these are from this tumbling tower game that you can find in the kids toy section, and you get 72 of these blocks in one package. And like I said, they are really great as sort of handles for your DIY stamps. You can also take one of the mini cubes and attach it onto something else to create a stamp out of something that is just a regular object. Like this is a wooden button that I glued the cube onto, and now I have a handle. It's easier to stamp with, and I actually used this wooden button stamp to make these beautiful patterns here. Well, that'll do it for this video, you guys. I hope you found some tips and tricks that will get your creative juices flowing. If you like this video, please go ahead and leave a like, and don't forget to hit that subscribe button. I hope to see you guys next time, and in the meantime, keep creating and making. Before you go, check out this video over to the side. I think you'll enjoy it. Bye bye.